Welcome y'all, I'm Susie with the Frazzle Flamingo, and today I'm going to show you how to do a wood grain with alcohol ink. What you will need for this project is you're going to need a prep cup. If you do not already know how to prep a cup, just stop this video and go back to the beginning videos of how to prep a cup and watch that, and then come on back and you'll be right where we are. Okay, and then what you're going to need too is just some cheap paint brushes. You can get these at the Dollar Tree. You're going to need just something down to protect your workspace. Alcohol inks can be messy, and you can use craft paper. You can also use a large piece of cardboard off a box that you have gotten. I'm going to adjust this just a little bit. I don't know if it'll let me, but there we go. Well, maybe. Okay, and you're going to need, of course, alcohol inks, and for this time we're using Tim Holtz, and I'm going to be using ginger. Let's see, hold on, ginger and teakwood. So you're going to need these, and then when you're finished with your product, you are going to need to spray seal it, and this is what I use. And of course I'm wearing my apron to keep me from getting ink all over me, and I'm going to be wearing my gloves. Otherwise you'll have ink all over your fingers. Okay, all right, now to start with, I always like to start with the lighter color. Let me get these caps off here. It makes it a lot easier for me to do this. And you can pick whatever brush you want. I like to have a smaller one, so when I'm trying to do any knots or details, I have that. But you can use any one of these. And I think for me, I'm gonna stick with this one for now. Then if you want to do dry brushing a little bit, you might want a little bit of metallics, paints, a brush to do dry brushing with, and a paint palette. Not decided if that's what I'm going to do yet or not, but we'll see as we go along. But it's pretty easy to do a wood grain with alcohol inks. It's not that hard, it's not difficult, and I'm going to show you exactly how easy that is. So let's get started. Okay, there are different ways to do this. Some people, they like to put it on their brush so they have a little more control, and then you just brush it on. As for me, I just find it really easy to just do a line and then just bring it, go up and down with your brush, and you will see that some of your lines can be harder, and you kind of want that in different spots, because that'll give you that wood grain look. And what you're going to do is you're just going to continue to do this all the way around. You can do it up and down. There are some people that go sideways. You can do that, and this pretty much dries immediately. It's really quick. And if you need to adjust or move things around, you can use 91% alcohol, or you can use this blending solution as well. But I normally don't have to use much of that. Sorry if I get a little quiet. I tend to concentrate when I'm doing these. So, and if I got a little on the end, I do pounce once in a while. Make sure you're getting your edges. And see how it'll naturally, when you change things. Do you see that? Do you see how it gives that beautiful look? And don't forget to do the butt. You'll want to do the butt. And it's not necessarily necessary that you do it right now, but don't forget that butt. And you're going to do this, and you're going to go all the way around. Just feathering it out, brushing it out as you go. Turning your cup. And if you, it a lot of times will dry before you get to certain spots. It's okay, because you can always go back and get that, leave it, because we're going to use, whoop, get up there. We're going to use another color. Go pounce in some color in there, and there you go. And you see how it's already looking like wood grain? I don't know if that light is too much, but I hope you can see it. It's beautiful. And I really like this ginger and the teak wood. I think they're my favorite, but I do like when I also can do a distressed look with the grays and the do a black dry brush, some black on it, really make it look distressed and aged. And you're going to do this, you're just going to keep going around. And if you got to add a little, it will pull off sometimes, but just keep brushing it. And you see how if you brush it and you just kind of give that dry brush and rub it in there, you kind of give it a little more texture. You see? And this stuff will splatter everywhere. That's why I tell you, you know, just cover, put an apron on, put your gloves on. I still get it on my arms. So I really like, wood grain's really popular. People really like them. If you are doing any kind of craft shows, you know, where you're going to be a vendor, and wood grains are very good to take. It draws people in. They think it's real wood, and oh, you got a real wood cup, and they want to see it, and then you can explain the details to them and how you did it, and it draws them into your booth. And they are very popular sellers, so it's always good. And I think they're pretty easy to do. I don't think a wood grain's that hard. It doesn't have to be. They can be super simple. I think for the most part, you can't mess up a whole lot on the wood grain. I guess you can, but I never have. Because I take a mistake and I turn it into something positive. You see how that's looking? It's looking really good. And it's not hard to do. When I first started, I was really intimidated as well to do these wood grains. They look so intimidating. And then once I got going, I thought, wow, this isn't that hard at all. And I started to really, really like the wood grains. You can do so many looks. You can do some great peekaboo cups with these. You can do the lighter wood grain and then put your temporary decal over it, and then do the darker over that, and then you remove the decal, and it just, that way the light shows through it. It's really, really nice. All right, do a little touch on that, just a little. I don't know if you can see how that pulled it off, but it's gonna look fine. See? Now we're gonna make sure we get the butt of it. You want to make sure you get the butt, and you also want to make sure you get in these cracks. You don't want to leave those white. I'm not being really particular with this on the butt part because we are going to be doing another color, but I do want to make sure that we have it covered and we're feathering along these edges. There you go. All right. Now I try and let this dry just a little bit before I get started with the other. When you do a second color, it will start to, it will pull a little off. But doing the two-tone this way, if I miss a spot or I just want to blend in a darker color, I can have part of this show and have the darker color pop on the end of it. Okay, so we're going to go with the teak wood. Now these are Tim Holtz, and I'm going to tell you, if you don't worry about what I'm using, a list of the supplies you're going to need will be at the bottom. In the descriptions, there'll be a list along with links to all the stuff that I'm using, so you'll be able to find it very easily. All right. Now you want it to make sure this is dry a little bit. Some people do a spray seal just so that this will stay put a little easier, but it doesn't matter. This brown will pull a little bit, but just add it slowly. Do you see? See how it's doing? And you don't have to be super duper neat in putting it on, because now I'm trying to get more texture in mine. I'm trying to pull a different look. I don't know if you can see that. See that? Look how gorgeous that is. And if you don't want your edges, because your edges can become harsh, if you don't want them harsh, you'll feather, just kind of feather them out, and you can also put a little more of this to kind of draw it out a little better. But do you see how it's making it look different? You don't want wood's not perfect lines. It has squiggles. It goes in all kinds of ways or directions. So you don't want it like all perfect, because you want it to look as real as you can make it. So it is coming along beautiful. I'm happy with it. All right. Just look at how, I just love that teak wood. To me, it just looks so rich. Does it not? Kind of looks like a maple. I don't know. I guess it looks like teak wood. Being creative and crafting is like so therapeutic for me. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't know a world that doesn't have crafts in it. I don't. And it helps keep me at peace a little better, a little more centered. So I love it when I can share with others and have people share in the joy of doing crafts. And it doesn't matter, you know, what craft you do. I think it's just having something that you can feel at peace with and take pride in. Now, I don't know how well you can see that, but look at that texture in here. Do you see that? It's turning out so beautiful. And for me, you know, I do the epoxy-free method with crystal lac. I found that to be what I needed for my life and what I'm dealing with. I was a little nervous to do epoxy just because I have a lot of other issues and I didn't want it to affect my health or well-being or my households. So it's my choice and it works out great for me. I love it. It's non-toxic. It is non-yellowing. And you can use most products, and I say most, that you do with epoxy. You can use most of those products. You just have to maybe prep in a different way. You have to, you know, make sure you seal it real good. And I believe you seal it too with epoxy. So I think the method is still the same. The difference is, with mine, I have to gas it off. I have to let these gases and fumes of any chemicals that linger from the alcohols or the spray paints, I need to allow them to gas off for 48 hours to make sure that my crystal lac will cure properly. See, on the butt, I just kind of want to move it around. I want it to look almost like a cut off part of the log. I'm trying to slowly, as I go around, get that look. But do you see the difference? That's light, and then that. You see how rich in the texture of the alcohol ink. It's amazing. See, it's not that hard. It's really simple. You just do a line of your alcohol ink and you just do your brush up and down. You can go long. I take short ones sometimes because when I do the short little scuppy marks, it leaves a little bit darker where I want it, and then it kind of almost gives you that knot all by itself. You see it right here? And I got splatters all over my craft paper. That's why I put it down. I try and protect, and I got splatters everywhere in my craft room, but I try and protect my space as much as possible because I want it to last me longer. Sorry, I think I was off camera just for a minute and I didn't mean that. Kind of hard to tell. Oh my gosh, I really love how this turned out. You can put any saying you want on this. You can put any vinyl picture, water slide, anything. There's so many things you can do with these, and I think that's why I really like the... All right, let me get in here just a little. I'm sorry, I was off camera. Not used to doing these tutorials, but I want to make sure I help others the way I was helped, and I give tutorials so that people can see how it's done. And I mean, it's one thing for people to describe it to you. It's a whole nother thing to watch it being done. Oh, I'm sorry. To watch it being done and you can replay it at any part, and it's just helpful. Now I normally will put on the butt of my cups, I will normally put my QR code or a logo, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And some of you do put stuff on the bottom, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but see, look how gorgeous that looks. All right, I think I'm done. And that's how easy it is. That's how easy it is to do alcohol inks. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna let this dry. You're gonna let it dry for maybe an hour, and then you're gonna lightly spray seal it with this. And you don't want a heavy coat. You wanna put on a light coat, cover it good, make sure you get the butt and the edges, and you're gonna cover this lightly, and then you're gonna let it dry for an hour or two, and you're gonna put another coat on, a light coat. And once you do that, the people with epoxy can put on their epoxy, and the ones who do the epoxy free method with Crystal-Lac or something else, then after 48 hours, allowing this to gas off, and gas off means you're allowing the gases and the fumes and all the other extra chemicals and waters and all to evaporate. And you're allowing that to cure and dry really good. So after 48 hours, after you've spray sealed it, you can start putting on your BT, which is bright tones for Crystal-Lac. You can begin to put on your BT, put on a couple coats of BT, put your vinyl on, your water slide, whatever you choose. And that's it. That's how you would grain a cup. And if you have, you know, like I said, if you have any questions or anything, or you want to know what supplies we use, just go down to below and you will see the links to everything we have used. All right, that's all I have for now. From the Frazzled Flamingo and myself, we just hope that you can keep being your wonderfully creative self. Bye.